Good morning, dear students. Are you all fine? I hope you all fine. Are you ready to listen online video? Okay, students.
Okay. Today we are going to see lesson 13, light, shadows and reflection. From this lesson, today we are going to see propagation of light and shadows. Are you ready? Okay. First of all, we are going to see propagation of light. What is propagation? Before that, we can see when we are going to travel from one place to another place. How will we move? Yeah, through vehicle or on foot, isn't it? But what we need for that? We need a path from this place to that place, isn't it? So, like that, light also to need a path to travel. Okay, the path is nothing but a straight line. Okay, that means light travels in a straight line. Okay, when we want to represent the propagation of light or the travel path of light with a diagram, we represent it with the help of rays and beam. Okay, ray means a ray is a line with an arrow that shows the direction of the propagation of light. Such a diagram is called a ray diagram. So, ray is the representative of the path of the light. That means straight line. Okay, so are you clear now? Next, beam. What is beam? A group of light rays moving in an organized manner is called a beam of light. Ray means a single path or single line. Beam means a group of light rays. Are you clear now? Yeah. The property of light of traveling in straight lines explain many interesting phenomena related to light, such as the formation of shadow by opaque objects and the formation of images in a pinhole camera. Mainly the two phenomena we are going to see in this lesson. First one, shadow. Second one, images. Are you clear now? Then, before that, we have to see one activity to show that light travels in a straight line. For that, we have to take a sheet of opaque paper rolled in the pipe and a lit candle. Okay, opaque, you know, already last class we were discussed, isn't it? Yeah, what is opaque? Opaque means it does not allow the light to pass through it, isn't it? That is opaque. Okay, next one, like that opaque paper, we have to take it. Then, see this picture. Look at the candle flame through a pipe. Keep a safe distance between the pipe and the flame. Next one, bend the pipe in a little and try to see the flame. Okay. Then, where you can see the light? Yeah, candle flame can be seen through only the straight pipe. But it cannot be seen when the pipe is bent. From this, what you learned? A light travels in straight lines. Are you clear? Okay. Now let us move shadows. Okay. What is shadow? Where it formed? When it formed? What are the conditions to form a shadow? That we are going to discuss. First of all, what is shadow? If an opaque object blocks the light falling on it. Why block? Because it does not pass the light. This creates an area of darkness on the side of the object away from the source of light. Okay. A translucent object also creates a faint area of darkness. That means slightly. Okay. An area of darkness formed by an opaque object obstructing light is called a shadow. So what is shadow? An area of darkness formed by an opaque object obstructing light is called a shadow. So the three things are required for a shadow to form. First one, a source of light. Second one, an opaque object. And third one, a screen or surface behind the object. The three things we need to form a shadow. Okay. A shadow will not form if any one of these is absent also, the shadow will not form. Okay. This explains why we cannot see a shadow in the dark. Why? Yeah, main thing is the opaque object does not pass the light. Okay. Because of that, the rays are obstructed by the opaque object. That we get a shadow of the object. Okay, students? Now see this picture. The torch. Torch is a source of light. Okay. Then second one opaque object. Isn't it? Here ball is the opaque object. Then next one, the screen. On screen we need. Okay. That is the surface. On the screen the shadow will be formed. Okay. Behind of that screen, the opposites of screen, the shadow will be formed. Another one picture you see here. Yeah, here natural, isn't it? Sunlight is the source. Then the boy is the opaque object. And the shadow is, which one is surface? Yeah, the land, isn't it? The surface of the earth is the screen here. So three main things we need. Okay, are you clear, students? Okay, next we are going to see the characteristics of a shadow. The shadow is always black, regardless of the color of the object used to make the shadow. If white or blue or green, red, if any color, object is if any color, but shadow is only in black in color. Okay. Next, it only shows the shape or outline of the object and not the details. From this shadow we can understand the shape or outline of the object, but we cannot get any other details. Any other detail means the color or the property or the taste. That and all we cannot understand. Only the outline or shape of the shadow, shape of the object only we can understand from the shadow. The third one, the size of the shadow varies depending on the distance between the object and the source of light. Okay, and the distance between the object and the screen. We can see if we stand on daytime, morning time, if we stand in one place, the same place we can stand in 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock if you stand, or midday. If you stand, the shadow will be different. Did you watch? Hereafter you will be watch, you can understand. Okay, the shadow will be different from the morning or midnight or evening. Okay, why? Because the distance between the sun sun and the land. Okay, this is the difference. Okay, the size of the shadow varies depending on the distance between the object and the source of light and the distance between the object on the screen. Okay, according to this, the shadow size will be varies. Are you clear now? Okay students, now let us watch a video. Okay.
Do you remember the concepts we studied in the previous lesson? First, we understood that opaque objects do not allow light to pass through them. Second, transparent objects allow light to pass through them and we can see through them clearly. And third, translucent objects allow light to pass through them partially. Now I want you to answer this question. What kind of an object is a human body? Are we able to see through it? Not really. Hence, a human body is an opaque object. What happens when light is obstructed by the human body? We see that the human body is obstructing light here. There is light in front of the human body, but what do you see behind it? Yes, a shadow. This thing you see behind the body is called a shadow. Now looking at this, can you tell me the things that are required for a shadow to be formed? Two things are obvious. First, a source of light which is in front of the body. And second, an opaque object. Here, the human body is the opaque object. Can you identify any other thing we may need for a shadow? Maybe not. Now let's consider a different situation. In this situation too, we have a source of light as well as an opaque body. But do we see a shadow? No, we don't. Do you know why? Perplexed? Well, had there been a screen behind the opaque object, you would have seen the shadow on it. But because there is no screen or surface like in the previous case, we cannot see the shadow. What does this tell us? It tells us that we also need a surface on which a shadow can be formed. That surface will make us see the shadow. What's so special about shadows? Shadows also give us some information about the object. So if I show you this shadow, you will be able to tell me that it's a human body shadow. But sometimes they can also be misleading. For instance, can you name the body of which this is a shadow? You'd probably say it's that of a dog, but it's just our human hands playing the trick. Has it ever occurred to you as to why shadows are formed? We know one of the reasons. Opaque bodies do not allow light to pass through them. Yes, that's one of the main reasons why shadows are formed. Another important reason for shadows to form is that light travels in a straight line. We will see its use in our next lesson.
On a Sunday morning, you are on your way to the market to buy some milk. The sun is shining bright on your face. You see your shadow on the ground behind you. The same day in the evening, you are out in the park playing football. The sun's rays fall on your back. You see your shadow on the ground in front of you. After a while, the sun sets. There are no more shadows. You are confused. You want to understand when shadows are formed. You're also curious to know the direction in which shadows are formed. Shadows are formed when an opaque object is placed across the path of light. Shadows can be seen only on a screen. The ground, walls of a room, building, and other such surfaces act as screens for shadows. Shadows are always formed in the direction opposite to the source of light. In the morning, since you were facing the sun, the shadow was behind you. In the evening, the sun was behind you, causing the shadow to be formed in front of you. When the sun sets, there was no light, hence there were no shadows. You just learned some interesting facts about shadows. Let us list the important characteristics of shadows. Shadow is formed when light falls on an opaque object. Shadow is formed in the direction opposite to the source of light. Outline of the shadow matches the outline of the object. The brighter the light, the darker the shadow. Shadows are dark irrespective of the color of the light or the object. The closer the source of light to an object, the larger the shadow. The farther the source of light from an object, the smaller the shadow.
Students, now I hope you all thorough in the topic propagation of light and shadows. Thank you, students.